And I'm going ahead of myself, but anyway, when I got this picture out and I gave it to a few sisters in Atlanta, they would call back next morning and say, my God, she's communicating with me. Now, ironically, I got this out on about a year, well, November the 9th, November the 9th or 6th of 2003. And it's called the African Venus. And who would ever know that on 666, June 6, 2004, 2 and 4 is 6, you would have the Venus transient. So all this stuff lines up. So this particular picture goes along with the Venus, as well as this is the East Indian form of Venus. Het-Her-Rua Hathor, the Temple of Hathor, is the Kamite form of Venus. The Kamite form of Venus. And I know everybody wants, so we can make some available or whatever the type thing he is, all it's just that, you know, we could only get 10 at the moment. The Kamite form of Venus, all of these are aspects of the form of Venus. And all, but the one that's the most active is this baby right here. And all. It right here. And I'm going to go into some things tonight now, some things for you to also watch out for. Because at this particular time, you can front to everybody around you, but your heart has to be right, because there's something called the apocalypse of the heart, and you're being judged by your own heart. Which means the first thing you say, well, how can I get my heart right? Well, the first thing you have to do to get your heart right is, we could talk about how to behave, but we got to cut to the chase on what would make you at the point that you would have a messed up heart. And basically you have to, and there's a technique to deal with it this time. It's a philosophy. What you have to do to get your heart right is this one simple thing. You have to fall in love with self. You got to just say, look, this is who I am. This is what was handed to me on the life cycle. And just deal with it. Say, this is it, you know. I'm not going to get another self. Who I am is who I am. You know, quit comparing yourself to whether you look like other people or what other people have, and fall in love with self. There's something about you that you like about yourself. Take that and magnify it. You know what I'm saying? You might scratch your behind a certain way and you go, man, I do that shit good. But whatever it is, you know, whatever it is, you know, it might be some freaky idiosyncrasy stuff. Take that and fall in love with it. You see what I'm saying? There's something about you that you like about yourself that can be admirable, other than comparing yourself to other people and what you don't have based on what you think is the object of beauty, desire, wealth, or whatever. It's a done deal. You're going to have to, and once you neutralize that, pretty much you free. There's a way to do that. We'll go into that. It's called getting to know self. I'm going ahead of myself because we got a lot to deal with, but I want you to access these things also, because it also helps me out in the aspect of, because I asked the Spirit, she said, well, you want to make some cash, you want to do something to help yourself out, then give the people some spiritual things that they can use, as well as, so we also got the love fund bucket here, and all. So we're going to take a break about an hour into this thing, and you can access these pictures and the love fund bucket, and we got a few more DVDs left behind. DVDs left behind on the whole African Venus thing, one that was done in this summer around the time that the Venus thing was actually happening. So we have a few of those on all the DVDs. But there's also a number on here, but also you can access, we want to give the shout outs to the people who put this thing, because I'm jacked in on this one based on Brother Atiba, who called me up and said, look, you want to do this, and also go to Tahuti Online. The Brother Noah, the Brother Noah who's doing these tapes, go to Brother Noah and access that. There's several ways you want to do this. You see what I'm saying? So I'm obligated based on Brother Atiba and Brother Noah, you see, that which is, you know, you access these particular videos and stuff tonight, no. And moving right along, we got a lot to cover. A lot to cover. So we're going to get into a little libation. But what I want to do, I'm going to restrict this because time is the essence. So I'm going to restrict this to more of the newer entities that came through, which I'm going to explain what all that is about. The newer entities. I tried to downsize based on 9/11 and the plane situation and all, but it just ain't happening and all, I got a new sister. I got a new queen in goddess. You know what I'm saying? And she came in, like I said, I met her actually in Philly during the that was October the 25th, 1997 in Philly during the Million Woman March. And she came I had a lecture later on that evening, and she came, and I'm like, dang, you look just like my first cousins. I got 3 cousins, and so I fell into the cousin zone. And I think that's the way the Spirit does things, because I had Ginger at the time. You see what I'm saying? So I fell into the cousin zone, and it's interesting how the Spirit, I didn't look at her only as a cousin. When I used to see her, I said, hey, cousin. She said, Mister, she was from D.C. and all that. And then later on, when I went to go get the African Venus in Baltimore, she came to the lecture because she moved back down to D.C. She was here in Philly for a minute, and she just danced with Sunrise Band, and so she was here for about 3 years, and she moved back down to D.C. And so it's interesting how the energy can change. We made the love connection. So she moved down and stuff, and so I said, well, baby, I cleaned up the house, got it spotless, and all of this. So she moved down in my spotless house and cleaned for fucking 4 months. I said, well, I guess a man's clean is different than a woman's clean. We sweep around stuff. They will go, no, you got to pull that bed out, So she was doing some of that grandma cleaning.